Okay, before we go on with the topic, I want to ask question for you to reflect. What would happen if your leaders, okay, what would happen, what would you need if something huge happened to you, to our country, to your countries? Something huge happened. What would you do? Yeah. You have to? You have to adapt. Okay. How do you adapt? How to do this? Okay. Oh, okay. It move. Okay. Okay. How do you adapt? Be flexible. Adapt mean be flexible. Okay. What else beside being flexible? What do you mean by being flexible?
Being flexible, it means open to new opportunities, new
Open
things.
to
Yeah,
new.
open to new challenges.
Open to new challenges. Okay, being flexible
Yeah,
according to.
having open-minded
Okay, having open
mind.
minded. Okay, so being flexible means open minded.
Yes, I think.
Okay, anybody else? You want to explain being flexible beside open minded? Okay.
Adapt and accept.
Huh?
Adapt and accept.
Adapt and accept. Accept means you just whatever come to you, you take it.
Adjust.
Adjust. Okay. Okay. Accept is kind of. I mean, we don't just accept, right? If something is against our belief, we don't accept. Okay. We adjust. Okay. What else? Yes.
Okay, sorry. If you have too much flexibility, you tend to be a people pleaser. If you are you want to stick less, the lack of flexibility, you tend to what you call that
Wait.
strong-headed, not taking other people's advices, for example. So stubborn versus people pleaser. If too much or too less.
So meaning that flexible, even though we have to be flexible, we have to take the middle road.
You have some boundaries.
Some. Okay. 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 I think that's get us going. Okay. Today, what we're gonna discuss today is first we're going to define adaptability and resilience, and then we're gonna recognize the importance of adaptability and resilience. Okay, especially as leaders. And we're going to analyze historical examples from Prophet Muhammad, the Sahaba, and probably great Muslim leaders of how they adapt and how they become resilient facing challenges. And finally, you are going to develop and implement personal strategies to cultivate these traits. Okay. Oh. Okay. Why adaptive leadership is very important? Why? Very important? Or see, the answer is there already. Because nowadays we live in a world that changes rapidly. We live in a world that changes rapidly. Okay, uh, you experience these changes. Okay, today, especially in technology, and also in geopolitics, it changes very rapidly also. And now we have many wars, and I don't know what will happen in the near future. Probably more wars because we are heading toward the end of time. Okay, and because of rapid changes, we face very unfamiliar problems. Problems that we face today is no longer the same with the problem that's faced by our ancestors or our forefathers. Therefore, whatever skills that they have taught you probably now obsolete. We have to have new skills. Okay. And why we have to have this adaptive leadership? Because we want to encourage independence in our team. We want to be independent, meaning that we don't want to depend on others. Okay, some people, when society change, they don't know what to do. They become because they are very rigid. Okay, they are not flexible. They cannot adapt, and because of that, they don't know what to do. And some Muslim, since they don't know what to do, what they did is they just become frozen in time. What do you understand from frozen in time? Meaning that they don't get involved with whatever happenings. So they secluded themselves into their circle only. Okay, and if we become like that, if you read Malik bin Nabi, he said that if we become like that, we become frozen in history, then Muslim cannot progress. And Muslim will be looked at as backward. Okay, we don't want to do that. And also very important also, if we are able to adapt, we become more competitive. Okay, we become more competitive. Okay, if you from business world, I'm not from business world, okay. But however, my first and second degree was in accounting. Okay, I have master's and bachelor in accountancy. But in this university, I teach Islamic worldview. Okay, it's kind of very different, okay? But in the business world, you have to be different in order to be competitive. You have to have unique selling point in order to be ahead. And some people, they just like to try new things, not because the way what they have been doing things are obsolete. No, it worked well, but they intentionally broke their own system in order to come up with something new. They break everything up, they put them together again to see whether they can put things together again differently. If they put differently, whether they can work better. Okay, and or they can be different, even though it works the same, but people look at it as different. And different is a selling point. Okay. Let's look at what is adaptability. Adaptability is the ability to adjust to a new situation, to changing situation, condition, or environment. Okay, ability to adjust to new environment and also the ability to go to a new environment. If their own environment, they cannot even change anymore. Okay, they cannot live in that old environment. Adaptability also means you change the environment. You don't change yourself, but you change environment. Okay, adaptability means being able to learn, cope with changes, and remain focused on whatever you want to do. That is adaptability. Have you ever be in a situation that you have to change decision like every hour? Have you anybody experienced? Okay. Okay, can you share your experience? Okay.
It was very personal.
Okay, never mind. Very, very personal. Who else? I mean, it's a volatile situation. Thing changes very quickly that you have to adapt. Okay? If you don't have, I will share my experience. Okay? Of adaptability. Beside teaching, I also a social activist. I have my own NGO, which was founded within this university. So when my students graduated in 2017, we registered under ROS, Registry of Societies under Malaysian law. Okay, we went. So I think during Operation Olive Branch, anybody knows Operation Olive Branch? Okay, at the border of Turkey, Syria. So, so we went there to help with the Syrian, and then some of the bombs crossed the border into Turkey side. So we have to change our strategy, our deployment, everything we have to change, and then we have to be very vigilant, looking for information every hour changes. That was like scary, and also because I like adventure. I don't want to say fun. Kind of, it's not fun. It's fun now, but when we face it, it's not fun. So we have to have plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, in order to complete our mission, but to stay safe at the same time. And during the earthquake, also we face the same issues. Okay, I went there, and then we have this earthquake, and I'm diabetic, and then the government said, no, you cannot sleep at the hotel. You have to sleep in the tent at the outside of the buildings, far away from buildings. So we have to change everything, move to far away buildings. And the next day, I told my team, okay, you all sleep in the tent. I'm going to sleep at the hotel. Because I cannot, at night I have to go to toilet many times. It's quite far away from hotel toilet from the tent. So it's very difficult for me. So you stay there. If anything happens, it's my problem, my responsibility. Okay, but nothing happened. It's just aftershock, like 5.0, 5 point something aftershock. But that was my experience, being adaptable. Okay, and we changed decision so many times for a day. Okay, and then around 2016 or 2015, I brought some students with me and some staff. And then they complained. They said, why don't you stick on to the schedule? Today doing this. And I told her, no, we cannot do that. This is a war zone. You cannot stick to schedule. because we receive information like hourly, so we cannot stick to schedule. And since she said that, okay, that's the last time she come with us. Because those who are not flexible cannot follow us. Okay, you want to stick to schedule, but we have to think of our own safety and the success of our mission. Okay, that is adaptable. We're gonna talk about how to be adaptable. Okay, what is resilience? Okay, resilience is being able to continue doing things even though we face so many difficulties. We face so many problems, but we still move on. This is resilience. We move on even though we face so many things. Okay? And I think the best example of being resilient now is people in Gaza. They are very resilient. Okay? Not being killed every day, they're being bombed, but they still can wake up and move on. Okay, that is being resilient. Why do you think that as Muslims leaders, you need to be adaptable and resilient? Why it is relevant to you? Okay.
I think it's important for Muslim leaders today. Maybe I'll speak mostly for Europe at least, because we're Muslim there, and while we're committed in any organization or in the society, we're being attacked for the fact that we're Muslims, whether it be by politicians or by institutions, or by the media, or even sometimes by individuals. So in this context where there is a lot of pressure from outside, and sometimes even from inside, because there are some Muslims, they say, okay, why are you getting committed? Why are you getting yourself shown in this context? Why don't you stay silent and so on? So in this context, it's necessary to be adaptable and resilient in order not to kneel, not to stop what we're already doing, because if we don't continue what we do as Muslims there, then people are not going to come to help us there. We have to do it ourselves, and we have to stand still, even if there is so much pressure on different on the Muslim organizations.
You mean that we have to stand our ground and move?
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Anybody else want to share? Okay, this brother.
Well, I think Muslim leaders should be adaptable and resilient when it comes to dealing with the situation. For example, I remember when I was doing my bachelor's degree in Egypt, 2022, they said at that time the AI was being implemented, pre-open AI. So the Egypt government said nobody is going to use the ChatGPT in that time. So after that, I think around 2023, then they just sent the decision and say you can use the AI. So if the Muslim leader, you see, it's a Muslim country, but the way AI is using that, we have to use it. And say we doesn't let her to replace us. We have to use it to improve us. So I think Muslim leaders should use adaptability and resilience in order to deal with the situations that may arise. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Anybody else want to share your thought? Okay. Okay. Because if we don't adapt, we're gonna be left behind. Okay. If we don't adapt, and if we are not resilient enough, we are going to be left behind. And for so long, Muslims are considered as backward, are considered as illiterate, Okay, we should not do. We should be resilient. We should show that we are. Well, if Muslim are not that. Okay, so if we cannot adapt and we are not resilient, we will be always be labeled as that and being humiliated and killed, like what's happening now. But Alhamdulillah, we have social media. The good thing of social media, okay, there's a lot of bad thing, but the good thing is information travels, um, and then it's kind of very contradictory with the mainstream media, which is very good. Okay, now let's move on. Okay, what are the principles of adaptive leadership? Uh, how to be a leader who are able to adapt. Okay, first we need to have empathy. Not only empathy for change. Okay, and I think, I don't know about others, but in Malaysian education system, empathy is not one of the objective of character development or character building. Why I say so? Because we lack empathy, especially when we go to social media. People lack empathy. Okay, so and it need to be taught. Okay, why we need to be empathic? Empathy is very important, especially leaders. Okay, what is empathy? Empathy is you walk in somebody else's shoes. You understand other people's problems, feelings, difficulties. Not only you have sympathy, you understand, you go one step further by helping. Okay, by helping. So empathy is to get sympathy together with action. Okay, like we watch the news on Gaza. We feel like very sad. We have very sympathy. We have this sympathy inside us. That's not enough. We have to walk one step further. We have to do something in order to call it as empathy. We have to do something. I don't know. Sometimes now we become very don't know what to do. We think, what can I do? Because we don't have any power at all. But we have to think and find solution. Find not solution for our own self. Because what happened to the Muslim world, to others, is the Allah's trial and tribulation, but not to others, but to us also. Okay, like for example in Gaza, they have this to face this brutality, but for others it's also trial and tribulation. Allah tries us. In what way? In how can we help those people? Okay. It's a test not just for people who get involved with this war, but it's a test for all Muslims to see how far we will go to help others, our Muslim brothers and sisters. Okay? If we have empathy, we can do that. Empathy make us possible to change. If we don't have empathy, we don't change. Okay, we cannot change situation or other people or belief. Okay, and we need to be adaptive because we want to empower others. Just because we want to empower others. The job of leaders is to empower their team. The job of leaders is to empower their teams. Okay. If you are not adaptive, you don't understand, you cannot change, you cannot adapt, you cannot sit in other people's chair, then it is very difficult to empower others. What is empower others? Yeah, to make
Make them feel confident in
Oh.
what they're doing.
okay, to give them skills. Why they are become confident? Because they have skills. Whatever skills that you want to teach, they have skills. Okay, they have the knowledge, they have the skills. Okay, you give them activities to exercise their knowledge and skills. That is empower. Okay, because if you have this, you become independent. Okay, and adaptive leadership also would be able to manage conflict constructively. We have conflict because we have conflict everywhere. Okay, conflict within our little things. Okay, conflict in a family, we have conflict. Friends, we have conflict. In our team, we have conflict. But we may have to manage the conflict constructively. Okay. I want to share with you a hadith. Okay, this is a conflict between Abdurrahman bin Auf and Khalid al-Walid. Anybody knows this story? Khalid al-Walid. I think you knows this story, yeah? They have conflict. Anybody knows the hadith? And how Prophet Muhammad resolved the conflict? So they are talking, both this group, okay, and then they come to Prophet Muhammad, and Abraham said, Khalid said this. And then Prophet Muhammad called Khalid. And Prophet Muhammad said, what? To Khalid. Khalid, if you give sadaqah as big of the Mount Uhud, a gold, you give sadaqah, the gold as huge as Mount Uhud, you cannot, what? Is it not equal to what Abdul Rahman give? Okay. You know this? Conflict? Okay. Okay. And then Prophet called Khalid, and Khalid told Prophet that they said this is about me. And then Prophet turned to Abdurrahman. Abdurrahman, Allah called Khalid as what? What is Khalid? Al-Walid? The sword of Allah. Khalid is the sword of Allah. So you need to respect him. He's the sword of Allah. Okay. So this is how Prophet Muhammad managed a conflict constructively. So after that, they are okay with each other. Do you know the principle of this conflict resolution? How Prophet Muhammad did it? He told Abdurrahman, he told Khalid what Abdurrahman cannot do. Whatever you did, you cannot even surpass him. Both. And he told Abdurrahman, whatever you did, Khalid is sword of Allah given by Allah. Okay, in this area, you cannot surpass Khalid. So then they are both happy. Okay. Okay, this is a short story. You can read more. Go back to the hadith. Okay. The role of the leaders in adaptive leadership. Okay. Okay, leader does not give direction that you do this, you do that command. Okay. But they create condition which the team can grow. Okay. Not command, but create a situation which the team can grow and adapt. And they become the facilitators of change. Okay, and they support learning because in adaptive leadership, you need to learn always. Because when everything changes quickly, we have to learn, always learn new things. Because if we don't learn, we cannot adapt. Okay, and the main role of adaptive leaders, first, they have to create safe space. Okay, safe space for learning, and they need to listen and to understand. What do I mean by safe space? Meaning, if you are in a team and then you criticize, everybody is free to say whatever they want without any repercussion. They are not afraid of being punished. They can say whatever they want, but in a very polite manner, not, whatever they want in negatively. Okay, they can criticize, they can give constructive criticism. They need to listen and to understand. Okay, this is the role of adaptive leaders. Okay. As for the members, okay, members, like our friend said at the beginning, we have to be open, or be open-minded, open to change, and do not resist change. Okay, those who resist change are not flexible, are not adaptable. Okay, they are rigid. Okay, and there was a tragedy happened in 2001 in Qura school for girls. I think 2001 or 2002. I forgot the date. But it was a fire. The school was on fire. And then the girls ran away from the building. Okay, this is... And then what happened? The guard at the gate said, go back, put on your scarf. Okay, some of the girls went back inside the building and 14 of them dies. Okay, and then it was a big hoo-ha in the media, people accusing Islam as, terrorists, okay, because you killed all those girls. This is of, the problem is not Islam, the problem is the God didn't understand Islam. Okay, he's not adaptable at all. He's very rigid. He thinks that law is the same, doesn't matter the situation. He was not sensitive to context at all. Okay, so people like that cannot move on, and will be very negative for Islam if become rigid like that. Okay. And team members must be brave enough to take initiative. Okay, I think I want to skip because now it's almost 6. Okay, because I want to I want you to do some exercise and then present. Okay. Okay, this is what you need to do. Okay, you need to discuss with your group members and choose a renowned Muslim leaders from history like Prophet Muhammad, the Sahaba, Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi, leaders, any great Muslim leaders, okay, and identify how those leaders showed adaptability and resilience when facing with sudden change or facing with uncertainty. So like for example, if you choose Prophet Muhammad, you have to think of times that Prophet really have to be resilient and also adaptable. Okay. If you choose like Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi, you have to know these leaders, the one you choose, you know their story. Okay, I will give you like how many minutes you can do it this? 5 minutes, okay. You choose this, and then the leader, and then you don't need to write the stories. When you present, you tell the story, and then you have to explain how this leader become resilient and adaptable. Okay? Okay. Now is 58. I give you 5 minutes, enough or not? Okay, 10 minutes. Okay. The sister says 10 minutes. Okay, I give you 10 minutes. Okay? Okay, since our organizer is very strict on time. Okay, who want to share? Because we don't have much time. Okay, brother in pink. Pink, you. Okay. Okay. Salam.
Our example is when Muhammad al-Fatih, when they blocked the sea,
Okay.
and he decided to take his warships across land to conquer the continent, Constantinople and Istanbul now.
Okay.
That's our example
Example of what?
of adaptability.
Adaptable and
Adaptability, yeah.
yeah, he can adapt, and also he's very resilient. He tried many times, yeah?
Yes, yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, sister group. Okay. Sisters, anybody? Any group already done? You're done? You want to share? Okay. Okay, that sister who raised hand. Okay.
Assalamu Alaikum, everybody.
Waalaikumsalam.
Our group, we did about Rasulullah's dawah at Taif.
Okay. Okay.
So basically the background is that this happened after the year of sorrow, after he lost his wife and his
Uncle?
uncle.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he faced terrible kinds of insult, degradation, ostracization, and because the people of Taif questioned his credibility. They they asked him like, if you're a prophet, then why would you have to spread Islam when people don't follow the Islamic teachings, right? And what the two values of adaptability and resilience, what it showed is that first, he adapted by being able to see the bigger picture and not acting on his emotions. Because what happened was that he went to Taif and he expected some kind of solace, and he expected people would accept Islam. And instead, he was ridiculed, and people pelted him stones until his beard was bleeding and until his whole body was bleeding. But he still persevered. So how he adapted was that he was able to see the bigger picture, and he did not act on his emotions. He did not become angry. He did not curse. He was calm because he could foresee that the people of Taif, despite them insulting him, were still good people, and he saw the goodness in them. And how he was resilient was that he didn't give up. He didn't give up because if he gave up, Islam would never be where it was today. If he still was in his emotions, was crying because he lost two of his biggest support in his life, we wouldn't have gotten to where we are today.
Okay, thank you, sister, so very much. So we out of time, but I want to very quickly just for you to think at home, okay? Of this question, what challenges do you face as a young Muslim? How can I build adaptability in myself? This you ask yourself question. How do I respond when I face setbacks? What will I do differently starting from today? Okay, this is the end. Thank you. This is from the Quran. Indeed, with hardship comes ease. Inshallah, this is adaptability and resilience. Thank you so very much for listening. Assalamu Alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.